I'm Russell Niewenhuizen. I'm the Chief Digital and Marketing Officer at Barron. I've been at Barron now for nearly 2 years. And from an organization perspective, for those that don't know who Barron are, Barron basically are the lead branded merchandise supplier in South Africa and in Africa. So we do with corporate apparel, anything from golf shirts, t-shirts, you name it, you need it branded, people come to Barron. Well, where Barron was when I came in was in a bit of a need for a turnaround. So we had a lot of different systems, a lot of instability in our back office environment, and we really needed to modernize because, as most leaders know, the pressure is not on necessarily always security. Although everyone wants it to be true, the focus is always on frontline and revenue growth. But that's not achievable if you don't have your back office environment stable and settled. And that's what led us to XContent and the CloudXource discussion. I chose XContent and CloudXource, one, because XContent were already working with our business in a slightly different capacity from the CloudXource side. But when the need arose to really look at a partner that could take us forward, we had an existing relationship with XContent. That was already one of the more positive partners within our business. It was really a discussion with an existing partner on understanding the full remit that they could offer our business. And one thing led to another, and a time for change was near, and that's why we chose XContent and CloudXource. The CloudXource, since onboarding, has been nothing but positive for Barron. I think the remit was quite broad on what we wanted to achieve, basically just fix everything. And I think with the CloudXource team in particular, what you really find is just, the type of partners that you need that can take ambiguity, broad statements and purpose objectives and really run with it. I would say it's been a real pleasure, and that pleasure's mostly been because it's something that I can feel the confidence that the team have a handle on everything that they're doing. So it does not take a lot of my time as a leader to sit on top of things. Really just a great team, solid team making progress every day. The CloudXource team, I think the onboarding phase is a really important phase as part of the engagement. So, the teams came in, really sat with us, understood the environment, understood what it is we were trying to achieve. And there was a roadmap over the first 3 to 6 months of, quick, tangible, short-term improvements that we could bring to the environment. And all of that really helped set the scene, not only from my impression, but also the impression with the wider business. Things were done that improved people's day-to-day experience from the get-go. So it's been a really, really easy experience to onboard. A lot of benefits. I think the one that most leaders will always look to is cost. And you think generally when we talk about cloud and Microsoft that these things actually will only be more expensive. And that's not the case. In year one alone, we've done a major adoption and shift from private cloud and private servers and databases here on site, moved everything to Azure while driving a 20% cost reduction in year one. Real tangible benefits, like I say, not only for the users but also for the most important one, which is our bottom line. At Barron, we run a 24-hour, 7-day operation. It never stops. And a critical part of that operation is our production and warehouse space that always needs to stay connected. When CloudXource came into our business, we hadn't actually tasked them with any remit to optimize our network in our warehouse, but they took it upon themselves to proactively do a survey of the environment. And with that survey and the corrections that took place, the amount of issues and network concerns or scanner connectivity issues we had in that space decreased fundamentally to the point now where we virtually get zero issues reported. So that would be an example, but I do have many more. I think as a leader, generally, I would say the answer to that is just stability. I think the stability gives you that surety as a lead to be able to go and push your teams forward into other areas of optimization. So with the XContent and the CloudSource team, there's always that sense of confidence that all our back office capability, our security posture, networks are taken care of. And that gives you massive confidence and capability to really push ourselves into other areas of improvement. I think really positively. I think our weeklies now actually not weekly. We've now moved them out to bi-weekly and even to monthly, because to that point of stability, things really work. You don't have to keep that cadence. But at the start of the project, it was a really important phase, to make sure that you're always there communicating and staying on top of things. And one thing I will say that is a big point of difference is it wasn't just Teams calls continuously. Teams are on site and present, and I'm even speaking to the leaders within the CloudSource program. Taking the time to be here physically is a massive point of difference and service offering. The executives within a business are generally trying to do things that create more demand, stimulate more revenue. Without a trusted back office partner, which is what CloudSource have given us, we wouldn't be able to have done the things we've done this year. So it's been a huge enabler for the rest of the digital, the data teams to really push our business forward. And it has been a really resounding year from a success perspective. Good question. I think year one obviously produced savings. I think those always get more difficult in year 2 and year 3. But as a team, I think we've already identified areas that we feel like even more cost savings can occur. But it's outside of just cost. It's just the continuous optimization of our security posture and our data landscape. We're rolling out a new Barron.com, for example, and none of that would be possible without a backbone of the XContent architecture integration that the CloudSource team would put in. If I haven't said it already, I'll say it again. I can highly recommend the CloudSource team. I think, most leaders in my position are sitting with a lot of the same challenges. There's obviously a lot of vendors out there that do what CloudSource do. But, in terms of the personal interaction and the confidence, you're not just dealing with a vendor, you're dealing with a true partner. And those are very rare. So highly recommended, and would definitely put a gold stamp on CloudSource for sure.